Welcome to the conversation where coffee meets content and perspectives ignite change. Today, we're turning up the volume just a little bit with a guest who refuses to be silenced. Rachel DeeLynn is a powerhouse singer songwriter who fearlessly approaches music, and she's earned herself a Grammy consideration because she is such an amazing person. Her songs are raw, unapologetic, and deeply personal. With her latest single storming the charts, she's proving that authenticity is the secret to success. So, buckle up. This is the conversation you don't want to miss with Rachel DeeLynn. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome to the conversation. If you're just joining us, we're having a conversation with Rachel DeeLynn. She is a dynamic pop rock singer-songwriter who's been making waves in the music industry with her bold sound and unapologetic lyrics. Rachel's journey from Berklee College to music, to being Grammy considered, and also signing with Sony Records is nothing short of absolutely inspiring. And we're diving into her latest single, Can You Hear Me Now? Now, a little bit about her background, if you don't know Rachel DeeLynn. She is a powerhouse singer-songwriter who fuses pop and rock with raw, unfiltered storytelling. Think Taylor Swift's narratives, Alanis Morissette's honesty, and Paramore's explosive sound. She's a Berklee trained musician and now making waves in Nashville in the United States. Rachel has been Grammy considered. She signed with Clinitel, Sony Records, and Arctic Sync. And she's played on major networks like BBC and KISK FM. Her latest single, Can You Hear Me Now, is storming the charts, proving that her voice is both literal and lyrical and demands to be heard. And we are going to find a gap in the show and give you a taste of that song if you've not heard it yet. So please give me the opportunity to welcome her to the stage. Rachel, welcome. I am absolutely delighted to have you join me here today on the conversation. And I can't wait to dive right in because I know the time goes by so incredibly quickly. I can't wait to play the song for the audience, for those who has not heard it yet. Now, your music is described as raw, real, and unfiltered. Why is that so important to you?
I think that art reflects life, and we can't censor our feelings. We shouldn't censor how we feel and what we think. And I want to be as authentic and real with people as possible because I think that's how you resonate with people and form those connections the most deeply, in the deepest way possible. So I really try. No censorship.
Absolutely. And, I think that's what attracts people to your music, the fact that you are so raw and real and unfiltered. Now, you've been, as I mentioned earlier when I did the introduction, you've been compared to some amazing people like Taylor Swift, Alanis Morissette, and Paramore. How do you define your unique sound?
That's a great question. I really like to think about it as a blend of all these artists and influences that came before me. I grew up loving country, loving rock, loving the pop punk scene, and so I like to take the authenticity and like the storytelling of someone like Taylor Swift and blending it with that like rock edge, that bite, because I love both of them, and I think I really want to create a space where they can coexist and work together. And so that's what I've been attempting to do, and I think it's working. We've been having a lot of fun with it. Yeah.
I think it's definitely working. Now, your single "Can You Hear Me Now" is charting worldwide. Can you tell us a little bit about the story uh, behind the song? What was the inspiration for it?
Yeah. So I went into this right. I had been feeling very silenced by someone, and I was tired of it, and I wanted to go in and say how I felt, no matter what, no matter what the consequences might be, I guess. And we sat down and we wrote it, and we had the best time. It was just fun for everyone, and just we really wanted to say how I was feeling, and even with the instrumentation, you can hear, the bends, the "Can you hear me now?" Really give it that bite and that edge that I was feeling, and it just kind of fell out. It was one of those that just really worked.
It's amazing, and I think let's play the song right now so people can feel that raw emotion that you were trying to portray in the song. So let's take a listen.
Where you were keeping me, some sick, quiet experiment. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I hope you hate the sound. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Or do I have to shout? Shut up, sit down. Can you hear me now? Sometimes I feel your hands wrapped around my mouth. I'll have a good day when my words are all it takes for me to take you out. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I hope you hate the sound. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Or do I have to shout? Shut up, sit down. Can you hear me now? I've got the mic, I've got the pen, our voice is your karma. Are you scared yet? I've got the mic, I've got the pen, my voice is your karma. Are you scared yet? I've got the mic, I've got the pen, my voice is your karma. Are you scared yet? I've got the mic, I've got the pen, my voice is your karma. Are you scared yet? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I hope you hate the sound. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Or do I have to shout? Shut up, sit down. But you can hear me now.
Wow. What I want to say is I was listening to those pauses because pauses can be used incredibly powerful. And I think those pauses are just in the right places.
Thank
And the way
you.
that emphasize, um, can you hear me now? And also just the beat of the music increases at just the right tempo at the right time. And I think it's powerful in the way that it gets the message across, I think, that you wanted to get across. And I can think of a gazillion applications for this kind of song because, there's so many instances in where women in particular are silenced.
Yes.
And so the song, I think, could bring across a really, really powerful message. Is that what you were hoping to achieve?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
See?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I want it to be an anthem for people. I want them to feel angry and turn to this song and feel like they have a voice. That's really important to me. Yeah, that makes me so happy. Thank you for that. That's wonderful.
I think you've absolutely nailed it.
Thank
I think you've done an incredible job, and I think also just this the strength in your voice is just the right depth.
thank
It
you. Thank you
it
so
just
much.
everything just seems to fit around, fit perfectly. How is your or has your background at Berklee College of Music shaped your approach to songwriting at all?
Yes, so I had the pleasure of studying with an absolute legend, Pat Pattison. He is wonderful and so wise. I learned tools, there are tools you think of like your toolbox, right? And you take them out and you use them, but at a certain point they just become second nature. And so I think for me it strengthened, it didn't change my writing, it strengthened it to be what it is today, what I needed it to be. And so I'm so grateful for that. I mean, Berklee taught me a lot of skills that I would not have had coming just straight to Nashville. So very lucky, very fortunate to have spent the time there that I did.
That is absolutely amazing. So I'm glad that it's had that kind of impact on you. Now, you've played at some of the most iconic venues in Nashville, right across the country. Could you single out a memorable performance and what made it memorable for you?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think our last we played a show in May full band at a venue in Nashville called the East Room, and that was when I met my great friend and cohort Thornton Klein, and he was at that show, and he really loved the music, and we started working closely together. And I just feel really fortunate that that show happened because it was our live shows. I want it to feel like a celebration. I want people to come and feel they're not there to watch me or to watch anyone in particular. We're celebrating life and music together, and so I think that was so much fun, and for him to get to be a part of that was really special. So that's definitely a standout for sure.
Awesome, awesome. Now I know that you and Thornton work together really well, and I think you're an absolute great combination. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Can I ask you, what is it like for you being a female artist in rock today? Have there been any challenges in the industry?
Definitely. I think in any sort of male dominated field, there's going to be its own challenges, but I really believe in putting my head down and working. And I want to be here and I'm going to create that space for myself and for other women. That is what I care about. And some people won't like that, and that's okay, but I'm going to stay here and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And so, yeah, I think it definitely comes with its own set of challenges. Honestly, I think sometimes that's made me stronger and that's made me want to even more. So things happen for a reason, and I think it's important to just keep pushing and making the change that you want and that you crave.
I think that's amazing that you've decided, to just push through and and make this your own, and own the space. And the fact that your song is doing so incredibly well, congratulations again.
Thank
There's
you.
testimony that you've carved out a space for yourself. Now, your lyrics are deeply personal. What's the most vulnerable song that you've ever written, and why? Is it this one, or was it, which do you feel was your most vulnerable?
Yeah, I think each song is vulnerable in its own way. I think that this one was definitely vulnerable in the sense that I was putting myself out there and I was going to make my voice heard in an aggressive way. It wasn't as singer-songwriter, it was definitely, I wanted the chorus to feel like a punch. Like, can you hear me? So that was definitely, in a sense, very vulnerable. I think that my last single, The Dark, was incredibly vulnerable. It came after a really difficult point in my life where I was at rock bottom, and I just wrote it about those feelings, and I really put it out there, and I just told all of it like I've never told it before. And that in itself was freeing. That vulnerability felt like it's done. It's out there. I've expressed it. And I think that's just the beauty of art, is we like turn nothing into something, like something that's in here, it's out there, and it's, people can see it and say, hey, I relate to that. I feel you. I see you.
I often say to authors, every time you release a book into the world, you're releasing a piece of yourself.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty much the same with you as an artist. When you release a song into the world, you're letting go of a piece of yourself. And you never know how that's going to affect someone else.
Yes.
And I know people can get lost in books, but I think music has got a way of moving you in a different way.
Yeah.
The words can move you. The lyrics can, lyrics or words, but also the actual music. And I think this particular song that we're focusing on now, there's such a good marriage between the actual lyrics and the music itself, that it is just brilliant, so congratulations again. Now, you in fact just signed with Clinical Sony Records as well as Arctic Sync. What does this mean for your career? And I'm asking you this question because somebody else may be watching this now and wondering, well, wow, she's done great. Could I aspire to this, and what would it mean for me to get signed up?
Yeah. I say if I can do it, anyone can do it. It's a dream. It's a dream come true for a lot of people. I know for me, I was, 10 years old in my bedroom writing songs and playing guitar, and so I think anyone can do it if you really just you push and you fight for it. You fight for what you want. I think with this, it's wonderful because I have people in my corner that really believe in the music. That's the most important thing to me, is where, everything else comes later, but the music and putting out good music that, will hopefully have a positive impact on people. That's the most important thing. And so we're focusing on just releasing more and more. We have, the next single's coming out in the spring, and so that's really the big thing. And then with Artec Sync, that's a sync deal, so that's film and TV, which is really exciting. He's wonderful. Pal is wonderful. I feel very blessed. That's the big thing. I think you have to make sure that you have people in your corner that love you for you and what you're doing and what you're creating. And that can inspire you to keep doing that and to keep rising. So, yeah, that's, I'm so blessed.
Well, you're doing absolutely great, and I think you're an inspiration for many others out there. Can we switch gears a little bit and talk about what your creative process is like? Can you walk us through your process? Do you start with the lyrics? Do you start with the melody? Um, how? What is your process? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. I do a lot of writing on my own, and I also do a lot of co-writing. And I feel like those are two different worlds almost. When I write alone, it comes from here. It's just like coming out. And so sitting alone and just playing guitar and kind of mumbling the words. Sometimes I'll start with an idea. I think that's a lot with like co-writes. I will start with a firm idea, like a title or a line, or sometimes even a section of a song. Something that's really been inspiring me and that I relate to at the time. And so I think it really comes down to what you're feeling. At least for me, I want to put those feelings into words, and so that's usually where we start. In co-writes, I do a lot of like track writing with people. So they'll, build a track and we'll be writing to the track, which is so much fun. I love that. That's probably one of my favorite things to do. That's how Can You Hear Me started, was we built this track, and I really wanted this like punk groove, and yeah, it just came to life. And I think that's the cool part about co-writing with track people, is you're bringing the song to life as you're writing it, so you can hear almost what the final version might sound like. So yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Now, thinking of the song and where it comes from and the meaning behind Can You Hear Me Now, you've been considered for a Grammy. What did it feel like, that moment you heard that news? What did that feel like?
I still it's so surreal. I got the call from Thornton, and it was like midnight, and he's like, "Rachel, I have to tell you something right now." And he was like, "It made the first ballot. It made it." And I called my band, and I was like, "You guys, we got on the ballot for consideration." And it still feels surreal. I mean, I it's something you only dream about, you don't think like tangibly about it. So yeah, surreal, just completely amazing. And I really tried to live in that moment and be present for that. That was important to me. So.
Congratulations. I mean, I can't imagine what that moment must have felt like, but huge, huge, huge congratulations
Thank you.
to you. Now, for any creative out there, social media plays a huge role, and specifically in music as well. It's massive. How do you balance remaining authentic with the expectations of the music industry? How do you find a balance?
That is such a good question. That is a great question. I really try to just have fun when I'm out shooting content with my bass player. Is actually my content person, Richard. Shout out. He's amazing, very talented. And so I really try to just have fun with it. We go out and we shoot. At first, when I first started making content, video, short form video and things like that, it was very awkward. I didn't feel, it doesn't feel, I don't think it's something that feels natural. And so I think you once you start to just get into the flow of things and realize, like, just have fun, and that will be reflected in the content. People will relate to that and say, yeah, like, I can feel that energy. They're having fun and they're enjoying themselves. That's really what matters to me, is that people can feel that we're not doing it because it's the grind and we're, just posting to social media to get, a following or likes. It's not about that. It's about sharing, and we're sharing bits of ourselves with I think that's the beauty of social media too, is it's with the world. People can find you from all over, and that's something that we didn't have,
Mm.
10, 15 years ago. So
No, and it's really is amazing in that you with social media now you can reach not just your local audience but a global audience. And I think
Exactly.
I still have to pinch myself some days when I think of how amazing it is that you can have a global audience from your phone,
Yeah.
literally in your hands. You don't need much. You just need a smartphone, and you can reach every corner of the globe where the internet is available. It still blows my mind
Yeah.
um, that you can do that, but you have to use it wisely,
Yes.
and have fun and be yourself. I think um, people can tell if you are doing something simply for the camera or if you're doing something simply for likes. And it's
Yeah.
not attractive to people when you do that. But when people see you're
Right.
genuinely fun or genuinely having fun, that attracts them.
Yeah.
So I think you're doing a great job with that. Now,
Thank you.
having gotten to the point where you are now, um, what would you want to say to somebody who's still holding back, who's afraid to have their voice heard or put themselves in, it is scary. You mentioned it just a few minutes ago. Putting yourself out in the public arena is very uncomfortable in the beginning. Putting yourself in
Yeah.
front of a camera and, exposing yourself to the rest of the world. What do you want to say to someone who's still in that space and they're holding back and they're feeling afraid?
I would grow into it. Don't be afraid to grow and to change. Your opinions will change. Your life experience will give you perspective that you didn't have in the past, and that's okay. I think so many people are scared of doing the wrong thing or saying the wrong thing or not taking the right path. I started playing acoustic, almost like country on my guitar. Like that's where I started, and I still have a deep love for that. I'm just taking a different direction because I've grown and I've evolved. And I think there's so much pressure as women especially to know what you want and when you want it and to stay in that lane, start young and have that platform young. And I think there's nothing wrong with growing and using your voice to express what you believe in at the time. And if it changes, that's okay. You can grow and you can change. You're allowed to do that, and there's freedom in that. I look back and at my younger self and I go, I'm so proud of the growth that I've made. I'm so proud of that. I've grown into someone that I would look up to when I was younger. And I think that as long as you don't hold back in that sense, you're going to end up just fine. You'll end up where you're supposed to be.
Rachel, what's next for you? I hope it's okay for me to ask you.
Yeah. Yeah, we have some singles coming out. Hopefully a debut EP will be out later this year. And we are working on a video. So a video for Can You Hear Me will be out soon. I'm very excited about that. Yeah, we've got some cool things in the works, some shows coming up. I haven't been able to announce them quite yet, but when I do, you can find that on social media. Yeah, I'm very excited. It's going to be a good year.
How can people connect with you?
Yeah, I have my website is my name, racheldelynn.com. You can also find me on socials at Rachel DeeLynn. It's DeeLynn. Anywhere you can find socials, I'll be there. I would love to connect. Send me a message. Say hi.
That sounds awesome. Before you go, where does DeeLynn come from? It's a very unusual last name. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yes, so it's actually a combination of my mom's first name, which is Deidre, and my dad's middle name, which is Lynn.
Oh
So
wow,
it's a special piece of my family in my art.
that's amazing. I all through the show I was thinking I need to remember to ask you that question because I was intrigued by your last name. So thank
Yeah,
you for
thank
sharing
you.
that backstory.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love talking about that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Rachel, I would love to have you back on the show again.
I would
It was
love
an
that.
absolute pleasure. The time goes by so quickly. So I want to
Yeah.
thank you very, very much for sharing your music with us, sharing your backstory with us. It was very exciting learning
Yes.
where the song came from. And
Yes.
I want to wish you well for the future. And thank you so much
Well, thank you.
for agreeing to be a guest on the show today.
Yes, thank you, Bridgetti. It's been so much fun, and I appreciate you giving, artists and authors a platform like this. This is incredible. It's an honor to be here, truly. Thank you.
Huge pleasure. And look forward to talking to you again in the future, Rachel.
Perfect. Bye.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Um, I want to again just Rachel, thank you for sharing your journey. Your music is powerful. Your voice is undeniable, and your
Thank
story
you.
is truly inspiring. And so, for those of you watching, please look. Go and buy a copy of the song. Can you hear me now? Go and stream it right now. And if you love this conversation with Rachel, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss the next episode of the conversation. Take care, and we'll see you on the next episode.